What's up, everyone? Happy Wednesday. I want to get into more of a habit of creating these weekly updates of what I'm seeing in the market from a macro perspective, but also just from an actionable trade idea perspective, somewhat as a journal, um, somewhat just as kind of to stay connected to everyone else in CT. Um, Today, I'll talk about Bitcoin and a couple of trade ideas that I'm seeing now that we're clearly in a ranging market, no longer a trending market. And as a reminder, this is just educational. This isn't financial advice. I hope you learned something and let me know in the comments if there's something else you want me to touch on or further delve into in greater detail. Thanks. Let's start with Bitcoin. I think it's a great place to start. The market's really challenging right now. Some people are saying the top is in, the cycle's over, it's only down from here. Um, I'll just short circuit that right now and just say I don't have any idea. It doesn't really matter to me, up or down. We'll find a way to make money and preserve capital um, and grow the account. Um, the way that I'm looking at things, and I think what the reason that it's so hard right now is because it's like a tale of two cities. You've got Bitcoin here. This is a weekly view, um, and there are some indicators that are concerning. Um, the first one I'll share is this down here is just weekly MACD default settings, um, and it's turning bearish. I'll show you some other places where it turned bearish, and it was pretty bad. Uh, Turned bearish here in 21. It fell off a cliff. Turned bearish here at the end of 21, beginning of 22. That started the bear market. You can give false signals though. I'm not gonna lie. Right here gave some negative turn on the MACD. It did decrease, but then it kind of rebounded. Here, it was right. It turned negative, and it did decline, but it was short-lived. And then this turns positive, we rebound, and then this kind of started a big trending phase, and then MACD turned negative, and that was pretty spot on. This was the 8 months of chop consolidation. We expanded for 3 weeks, boom, boom, boom. And now we're in this range up here, and the MACD is turning negative again. So that is certainly an argument that it's bearish. Another indicator I like to look at, which is something that my friend and I created, is this metric down here, volume delta. Essentially, all volume delta is buy minus sell volume, but it is the 200 period trailing average. So basically, without getting into the technicals, when it turns green, that means there's more buy volume than sell volume on a 200 trailing basis. And then when it's gray, it means there's more sell volume than buy volume. So it's kind of uncanny how well this worked the last two turns for this. This is end of 23, beginning of 24, when we start this like chop consolidation range here. You can see here, expanded, expanded, expanded. By the time this indicator turns negative, it's here, and we chopped around, and this was a very painful time frame for crypto. And then, boom, it flips positive signal around here, and then that was a very, very good expansive period from around 50K all the way up. I guess we peaked here around 110. And now, sadly, I hate to say it, but we're just turning negative again here. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Those are kind of like the negative arguments you could make for Bitcoin. Besides the price action, I wouldn't be surprised if we see 90K or below again. I think that's probably a minimum to sweep the liquidity before we see any expansive all-time high after that. But that's the negative. There are some positive arguments to be made. I think the first and probably potentially the most impactful here is the U.S. stock market. Right now we're on the brink of going to all-time highs. Actually, literally today we poked, and you can barely see it, but we did hit all-time highs today as of February 19th. So I I find it hard to believe that the U.S. stock market will, if this scenario happens, we let's get more room. Breakout, may retest, and expand upwards. I find it hard to believe that we do that and Bitcoin tanks. Uh, there's so much correlation now with ETFs and the U.S. stock market. So I find it hard to believe that Bitcoin could go through a full scale bear market while the U.S. economy is hitting all new time high, all time highs. So just keep that in your mind. Next, I want to just talk through kind of the setups that I'm thinking of for this type of environment. Again, we're no longer in a trending environment, we're in a ranging environment. So I'll talk about how we handle that. So now that we've kind of identified that we are in a ranging environment, I will discuss the types of setups. And real quick, let me just kind of explain what I mean by trending versus ranging. I'll be very brief with this. So this is the Bitcoin pretty much naked chart. And ranges are when price consolidates, and then we move expansively upward in 2 weeks, consolidate, 1 week up. I would just say this whole thing is consolidation. 1 week, 2 weeks up, consolidate for a few weeks. 1 week, 2 weeks up, consolidate for a few weeks. 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 weeks up, call it 5, consolidate. Let's call this 1 week, 2 week, 3 weeks up, and now we're back in consolidation. So in crypto, give or take, it ranges for about 85% of the time, and it trends for about 15% of the time. And I think a huge mistake people make is they try to take range trades during trending environments and trend trades in ranging environments. And because we 85% of the time we just chop around and move sideways, the big mistake people most frequently make is they just target too high. They say, hey, all right, this is going to be the breakout trade, whatever. I'm going to target a 50 to 100% move. There are times and places for that, but that isn't the normal trade, just given the fact that we, as you can see on this whole chart, it's mostly periods of consolidation and chop. So now that we've kind of identified that we are in a period of range-bound price action, I'm going to zoom in on this bit of this range. Now that we're more zoomed in, let me show you how I like to play these ranging environments. Essentially, I'm looking for swing failure trades. This is a fancy way of saying I'm trying to play at the range extremes and trying to see where shorts get trapped or longs get trapped, and then the price quickly reverses. This is frequently correlated with increases in volume. Anytime you see a massive spike in volume during a strong trend, it usually means the end of the trend and the beginning of a new trend. So let me just kind of bring this all together here. So again, weekly chart, I'm looking to play last week's low and high, and yesterday there was an amazing setup of this. So let's zoom into the 1 hour chart where things just become a little bit more clear. So this is the low that we saw on the weekly chart here, and I'll just draw it. Low here. And essentially, this is very, very beautiful. Price is chopping around here. There's some FUD, more sellers than buyers. Price comes down, punctures this level. So this is a level everyone is watching. It's breached. There's certainly many stop losses that were hiding beneath here. They're breached. Let's zoom in a little bit. The important thing that you want to see is an increase in volume. So this is kind of where volume was. Look how low volume was. Huge increase here. And that corresponds with this strong downtrend. So what I've learned, what I've seen, and this is pretty much trading common knowledge, when you have a strong move down like this, a huge increase in trend, a key pivot point like this, where people might come in late and they might say, hey, I'm shorting this. This is actually going to go to, 93K. No, this is going to go to 91K, 90K, 80K. people are shorting this into oblivion, and they're late. They didn't short it here. They shorted it here. So now they're trapped. So what happens is buyers step in. There's a battle, and this is over many hours. So this is over 1, 2, 3, 4. It really took 5 hours before this was resolved. But essentially, price goes like this, and then I'm not saying that it's going to keep going up like that, but who knows? It at least came back to kind of mid-range over here, where a lot of the point of control price action was. Let's just look at another example quickly of this. This was the prior low here. Price breached it here. Huge increase in volume here. And then price rebounds. Very clean, very, very basic kind of like swing failure pattern, you might hear it called. And I will show you 2 trades that I recently took that are the same exact idea and that are great for these ranging environments.